Ghetto noise. Yeah. Ghetto noise. Yeah. Ghetto noise.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah. Ghetto noise.
Premix. Big Stacks nighttime.
Ghetto noise. The inner city. Come on. Gutter to gutter. Yeah. Big Stacks nighttime. Come on. Here we come. Nighttime. Inflictions of shell shots, sweep in the spot. My crop is cream, striking on like a light watch. Signs of danger like roads of construction, build destruction. Blow it up, it's eruption. The function, eliminating faces of melanin. Opening third eyes, the suckers come again. The smoke and cannabis, store, can you handle this? It's on the list, bumping rhymes like a black fist. Ghetto noise, running the train on your ear hole. The pain is so crazy, drama will unfold. Niggas with loot cakes, many kids move fake. Scammers take the increase share the murder rate. The tendency, here is chemical dependency. Assessing Hennessy, black understand me. Command the attention and mention that crime is conviction. Doing bids just leads to addiction. Cars and trucks, pounding beats till the tips out. Instead of grabbing blocks, I grab mics for head bops and won't stop until the money is endless and spend it. And then I feel independent. The ghetto noise. Ghetto noise. Inner cities be crowded, masses on the blocks who flock from smooth suns on down to hard rocks. Can't forget the shorties with the backs that's fat. They mad deep, they travel in wolf packs profound. It's my speech to teach. I stay smart like streets to reach each with vocals and ghetto beats. Can't hold back, cause blacks are attacked with max and crack and push weight to get green and fat stacks. Understand the placement and face it, the drugs and shots and crooked cops, it's hard to erase it. The statement to say the least. Niggas caught up in the beats of abduction and slows production. The crime reality, mentality, cause kid is being slick. He's an entrepreneur of doing sticks. My trick is to stay away and be alone like home. My pleasure is to blast the microphone, fulfillment, to deal with the struggle that's every day. Some slice grams, I write this shit to take the pain away. On the deal from the havoc that reaps the ploys, the mechanism I spit is ghetto noise. Ghetto noise. Stagnant states that mean stand still. I dream up. Now you wanna talk about you claim thug and you pimpin' some shit. I'm protecting myself, building a fence, so you better get massaged cause you tense and you're not making sense. I'm playing George and John, ready to lynch corn. Type dudes just a jack in a box. All they say is pussy liquor and I'm cocking a Glock. But this nigga roll slides a fox. I checked you all up in your house cause you never really wanted the box. You the kid who plays gangster up on the weekend, but you know you hold more dick than my right hand. I heard in jail you was the prettiest thing. You were down low like J.L. King, nigga. It's the night I rep hoes and big cash, but get out of line, I put my foot in your grown ass. To the niggas lying about the streets, this is our kid, ain't nothing sweet. Ain't nothing sweet, kid. You better stay clear. Ain't nothing sweet, kid. You better stay clear. Blades be sharp, just like this thug I'm dealing with. I'm just stabbing your nose like gorilla piss. Plus some rapper you wrong.
Fearless and a smiling face. Check out my jewelry, pals in your faces. Italian Air Forces, leather laces with the basket weave. Iron in your face so fast from the draft you'll sneeze. It's the nastiest, flashiest, turn girls to masochists. Cause I be giving them pain. It's a cold world of laughers and Bernie Mac was snapping on you. But I ain't a joke. You think I'm here to entertain you? Fallen angel after them halos. Nobody move till I say so. Take the money out the safe slow. Escape route and I'm out. I kick out like Intamins and Briars, the flyers. Got to be the flyers. I know your ass is mean, like it's trapping in jeans, but you can work it like that. Be the flyers. You just take my promise while standing in your palms, cause you can work it like that. Puffin' on the lie slow, your CD need me, keep it kicking like Del Greco. Pull up at the Delano, South Beach, Jado. But King Solomon, jury security in the Tahoe. Spandex for money, I stay on the tight. G-packs and weed stacks, stay on the flight. Elbow out the left window, K is on the right. Canary out her ears, you know she playing them right. Hilton style, Billionaire Boys Club. Braveheart, y'all don't want no war with us. Dump a semi out of Maybach, I made girls bust. When I hit them full thrust, full throttle, you gotta beat up. I know your ass is like strapping, working like that. You just take my promise while standing in your pumps, cause you can work it like that.
Master ceremonies, none of you suckers are even remotely close to me. To be nice, I sacrifice things like no sleep. I keep a library of lyrics on microfiche, creating concepts so deep. Niggas quote me, they rewind and interpret my rhymes to their homies. I've advanced beyond your flows eons ago. It's inevitable in 98 I'm blow. Ever since 84 I've been in it to win it. But see back then we used to battle by spinning on the cement. You can't even absorb the rhymes I record or resolve the deep laws of the physics involved. I travel to the end of the universe and beyond. Parsecs out of range from a cellular star tech. From the galaxy of Andromeda, I puzzle niggas like crop circles. Another unexplained phenomenon. Hey yo, 9 out of 10 of these rap artists are garbage. You spineless, rhymeless, niggas is heartless. Hey yo, I came to see that hip hop is never tarnished. So hey yo, all I really want is you niggas to stop biting. All I really want is you niggas to start writing. All I really want is you niggas to be original and start spitting from lyrical shit to shit to shit to shit. I'm back up on my good foot, feeling myself. Just came from the doc with the clean bill of health. Diagnosis is I'm fresh to the death. You can hear it when I speak, daddy, yeah, I got the knowledge itself. Black man walking upright, just rapping my set. Soul chapel dollars and cents, plus 8 to the packs. For my tribe outside out on the quest to conquer the best. Show honor to the death, the name burned in my flesh. I came to bear my chest and all the pain that it holds. This ain't for the game, so champ, you can keep the gold. Cause I don't need them titles, just this pen that I hold. An open road to find my soul, out on the stroll daily.
DJ Wide Body, what up, though? It's Fields. You a fool for this one. Let me just go in. Pardon me, but I'm cynical, critical individual, chopping up every syllable over this here digital. Now that you see I'm lyrical, you gon' need a biblical miracle to knock me off the summit of my pinnacle. Raps like coke, just add a few chemicals. Crack on wax, now who's the dope criminal? Typical, how these imbeciles learn your ritual. That's why I keep it unpredictable, like mystical. Talk all fictional, stories all mythical. I suggest a bitch and you get some new principles. Pitiful, how these words turn so physical. Critical, how I leave you sitting in the clinical. Keep it to a minimal before you get that visual of me calling God and he calling up your spiritual. Lay you in a ditch or two, probably need a stitch or two. You don't take note how I feel, stay That's killing. why we go. You know we go.
That's why we go. You know we going. That's why we go. You know we go. That's why we go. You know we going.
Strategy is not the game that I play. Strategy is not the game that I play.
Similar to the first, this verse is gonna disperse these words that make these rap niggas pick out they hearse. It'd be a compliment to say they shit is the worst. And if your ass bought trash, my nigga get reimbursed. Cause it hurts to see you go to work so you can cop the merch and realize it ain't worth the perch. Cause in the age of twerk, perk, zennies and perk, and MCs waiting gold should be his worst. That's why when I step in the booth, I'm leaving Earth. Clark can't have it sent, all they screaming is church. Cause since birth, I've been cursed to blurt out these verbs. Call me a treadmill, how I work out these herbs. So bitch nigga, pull down your skirt. The 4 pound can squirt, go need more than a nurse to reverse this adverse impact. You won't get sent back intact and burnt how your insides work.
Police said the men had firearm magazines strapped to their bodies.
Yo, I was in the District of Columbia, sitting in a Hummer truck with wide body and mental guard. Our face was covered up, dressed in all black clothes. Plus we had the guns with us, duct tape in case we had to muzzle up the customers. Bank of America was casing the area. 7 months straight, found out where the safe and the cameras was. Now here's the plan, mental and Sam all the stick up men. Wide body, look out, here no business, then we split the grants. 7 minutes was the limit to pull off the job. Mental cocked his pistol, shot a security guard. Hey fella, flash the Glock at the bank teller. Cooperate, show me the safe, fucking sprayed the hell up. Grabbed him by the collar, hit the safe, grabbed a lot of dollars, threw him in the duffel bag. Alarm went off, we in trouble, cops coming fast. Somebody must have said, poetry, body to God's body. Dedicated to real brothers that ride for me. Nobody stopping my shine as long as God for me. Saying poetry, wide body to God. Spraying rhymes like a Uzi, flow like jacuzzi. Hot as Lauren leaving the foodies to show her boobies and porno movies. Ready to get out, I'm at your top like a goofy. Ill as Bill, slipping Camille and little Rudy, your roofie. Don't shoot me, I'm trapped between the lines of my loose leaf like Bruce Lee. I'm drop kicking moolies, rocking Gucci. Excuse me, truly, flows just grow through me. Like trees to branches, hair weaves and dandruff like handguns. Aiming metaphors at your eardrums. Busting 16s to your brains, leak on your air ones. Dropping lines like breadcrumbs on snare drums. On the mic, fresh as the grandson of Red Run. Hot as bars from Hollis to Niagara Falls. Rappers soft as cotton balls and bottles of Tylenol. Got migraines, they rhymes lame. LeBron James, push your wig back with slick tracks and hot flames. Saying poetry, wide body to God body. Dedicated to real brothers that ride for me.
Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't.
I never disagree with that, but
But I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't. Look in the mirror, saw a couple things clearer, but I couldn't believe what's in my face. A man of many dreams, and God gave him the means, but it seems he just standing in place. Gotta run the race if it's goals you gon' chase. All you see is death if all you got is faith. Gotta do the work if you wanna get it clapping. No snooze button tapping, don't make excuses happen. Go ahead pimping, be the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. For your heart turn cold and your body grow old. In the grave you gon' roll over a couple of times, cause you couldn't fix your mind to do what you had to. Success is like rent and it's past due. You better move before your best days is past you. I ask you, what you think is holding you back? Is it your mind or your heart that got you falling off track?
Don't waste your time. I'm a people we understand. Don't waste your time. I'm 10 toes thinking in the sand. Don't waste your time. So who are you to tell me who I am? Don't waste your time.
Been there before, so the war numb to it. So when you draw, better know it's on. My word law, my word is born. The strongest man can lose his life to a woman like Genghis Khan. I'm on another path. I have experience with different cash. Exotic queens with the realest ass. Exotic green in my secret stash. Nicer than me, please don't make me laugh. Your God degrees don't equate the math. Behead the wicked with a sacred staff. I speak to God all the time. You only call him, call him, call him, call him.
chicks everywhere. Dudes is cock blocking, ready to get it poppin'. Patron shots plentiful. Chicks everywhere. Dudes is cock blocking, ready to get it poppin'. Patron shots plentiful. Chicks everywhere. Dudes is cock blocking, ready to get it poppin'. Patron shots plentiful. Some chicks rockin' the same gear identical. Security's tight, ain't got a cat on the chokeout. Hot box session in the restroom smoked out. These are the things you see when it's the end of the week. Cause there's a party going on and everybody's hitting the street.
Surrounded by bouncing asses, she gon' be smearing off straight in big glasses. It's crazy when you having fun, how time passes. Spend the money, that's a budget, cause it's for the mass. That's for burning up, the DJ spinning all the classes. Nothing but cool brothers, ain't no need for spaz. The streets came out tonight, you know we smashing. Fucking with brutes, we Trump bitches. They willing if you grabbing. If you never been a renegade, you probably laugh.
Girl, there you go again. Oh, and so again. Mahogany skin, rich curves like a winding road. Small talk, I'm trying to set the mode. I'm digging your wordplay, and your brick house is weak. SWV, you're making me weak. Phone dialogues and coffee shop rendezvous. Hot damn, girl, there you go again. Intrigued by your glow and your soul within. Mahogany skin, with curves like a winding road. Small talk, I'm trying to set the mode. I'm digging your wordplay and your brick house physique. SWV, you're making me weak. Phone dialogues and coffee shop rendezvous. Getting close to what I'm trying to do, so I play my position at least until I reach my goal. Next level access, headline your show. It takes time to grow, but baby girl, I've reached my peak. I'm Jaku Stote, trying to go deep like rice or passing routes, and never ever forecast your doubts. But check it, let's make it happen like yesterday. And no, I don't feel that it's best to wait. You feel me?
Baby, you got me going crazy like.
On that room.
It's Jewel.
But you know what I like about San Fran? The reason I picked this city to be my special, because of all the major cities in America, somehow people get along with better than anywhere else. And I always voice it.
on the top with short like leprechauns as I crush so-called willies, thugs, and rapadons. Get in that ass quick fast like Ramadan. It's that rap phenomenon, Don Dada. Fuck Papa, you got to call me Francis MH. White intake like toast, so iron. Was told in shootout, stay low and keep firing. Keep extra clips for extra shit. Who's next to flip on that cat with that grip on rap? The most shady, Sticky baby. Ain't no telling where I may be. May see me in DC at Howard Homecoming with my man Capone drumming fucking something. You should know my stilo. Went from 10 G's for blow to 30. I know how it feel to wake up fucked up. Pockets broke as hell, another rock to sell. People look at you like losers, mad Buddha abuser. But they don't know about your stress-filled day. Baby on the way, mad bills to pay. That's why you drink Tanqueray, so you can reminisce and wish you wasn't living so devilish. Shit, I remember I was just like you, smoking blunts with my crew, flipping those 62s. Cause GED wasn't B.I.G. I had to get P.A.D. That's why my mom paid me. She was forced to kick me out, no doubt. Then I figured out niggas went for 20 down south. Packed up my tools for my raw power move. Glock 19 for casket and flower moves. For Trump's trying to stop my flow, and what they don't know will show on the autopsy. Went to see Poppy to cop me a brick. Asked for some consignment, he wasn't trying to hear it. Smoking mad Newports cause I'm doing court for an assault that I caught in Bridgeport, New York. Catch me if you can like the gingerbread man. You better have your gat in hand.
I don't wanna live like this, cause I ain't about to struggle. Make money off in these streets, cause I'm all about my hustle. I got what you want and need, coke to speed, pills and weed. I got folks that depend on me, oh yeah.
I had the master plan, I'm in the caravan on my way to Maryland with my man 2-Tex to take over this project. They call him 2-Tex, he told 2-Tex. And when he start the bus, he like to ask who's next. I got my honey on the Amtrak with the crack in the crack of her ass. 2 pounds of hash in the stash. I wait for her to make some quick cash. I told her she could be lieutenant, bitch gas. At last, I'm literally lounging black, sitting back, counting double-digit thousand stacks. Had to re-up, see what's up with my peeps. Toyota dealer-thon, had it cheap on the Jeep. See who got smoked, what rumors were spread. Last I heard I was dead, with sticks to the head. Then I got the phone call, it couldn't hit me harder. We got infiltrated, like Nino at the Carter. Heard Tech got murdered in the town I never heard about.
No, I got it. I'm gonna rinse it out. No, I'm cool.
And my bitch
pour
swear
it
to
down
God she
the-
won't
pour it
snitch.
down the
I told her when she hit the bricks, I make the hooker rich.
Solid.
Conspiracy, she be moving free until then I look out for the whole family. A true G, that's me, blowing like a bubble. In the everyday struggle.
What up, though?
What's up, Nope?
What up, man? You start yet?
Yeah, start now. We live. Doing the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's right. It's that time, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk that stuff on this 15th day of January. I'm DJ Wild Body. We got the click in here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on the playback. Let's meet the panel. Let's meet the panel. Up next, from Flint, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the comrade, Rod Wallace. From Jersey, let's give it up for, welcome back to Miss Jewel. Let's give it up for Monica Donato.
Peace.
From Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, stand up. Let's give it up for the comrade, Mike Nodes.
What up, though? What up, though?
And I am DJ Wild Body. I expect some more panel members running a little late, but show must go on. We're here. You are there. And this is Talk That Stuff. We don't do numbers anymore.
You say what's up to my sister?
What's going on, sister? How you doing? What's happening?
Your brother said hello.
Oh, what's up, sis?
Yes.
Hey, sis. What's happening? What's going on, everybody? That's right, DJ Wild Body here. Talk that stuff. I'm trying to get it in here. So I got some NFL stuff to go through, and then we'll get to talk. We're still waiting on some panel members. I've been under the weather today a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this done. Let me pull up let me get some NFL going here real quick, then we'll get to business. All right, here we go. Oh. Yes, that's right. DJ Wild Body here. Talk that stuff. Sports, NFL, that's right. Playoff season. The playoff feeling is in the air. Ha ha. Hold on, let me get you right. Because I have a blank screen. Because I'm all over the place. There we go. That's right. NFL, the first wild card weekend. Playoff still going on. A lot of football. Right now, fourth quarter, 12 minutes and 34 seconds to go. The Giants in Minnesota at the Vikings, and right now we are all tied up at 24 apiece. Kirk Cousins, 25 for 30 so far, 250 yards. Daniel Jones on the ground, 10 carries for 71 yards. He sets a franchise playoff rushing record with previously 59 yards. Daniel Jones now the leader in that. And TJ Hawkinson, tight end Minnesota, 6 receptions for 104 yards. He's going crazy. Hopefully the Giants can pull this out. We do have it in the small thumbnail on the left side of your screen if you want to check the game out as well. Moving along also today in Orchard Park, it was the Bills hosting the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, tourless, they came to play. This game went down to the last play of the game. The Bills barely escaped with a win. They beat the Dolphins, scored 34-31. Allen, QB, Buffalo, 22 for 39, 352 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. On the ground, Singletary, running back, Buffalo, 10 carries for 48 yards. And Diggs, 7 receptions for 114 yards. The Bills, they move on, but the Dolphins gave them a scare. Moving along to yesterday, Saturday, the 14th, it was the 49ers taking on the Seahawks. Seahawks division winners as well, no, actually wild card. And the 49ers handle business like you should handle a team that you should beat. The 49ers beat the Seahawks 41-23. Purdy, quarterback, San Francisco, 18 for 30, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, running back, San Francisco, 15 carries for 119 yards. And DJ Metcalf, wide receiver, Seattle, 10 receptions for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Niners move on to the next round. And moving along, Duval, Jacksonville Jaguars, their first home playoff games, and Lord knows how long, they host the Chargers. The Chargers coming in with a 10-7 record, ready to handle biz, one of the hottest young quarterbacks in the game. The Chargers ought to have this in the bag. No. the Chargers jump on top of the Jaguars in the first quarter. I think they had a 27-0 lead at one point. Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 picks, ladies and gentlemen. 4 picks, but somehow the Jaguars, they willed their way, start chomping away at the score, and the Jaguars, kicking a late field goal late in the game, they beat the Chargers 31-30. I repeat, the Jaguars get their first playoff win in God knows how long since football were invented. 31-30. Trevor Lawrence, QB Jacksonville, 28 for 47, 288 yards, 4 TDs. NTA Jr., running back, Jacksonville, 20 carries for 109 yards. And Everett, tight end, LA Chargers, 6 receptions for 109 yards, 1 TD. And the Jaguars, they move on. And moving along, tomorrow night, we have a Monday playoff game. The Cowboys, 12-5, going down to Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. The Big Sombrero, the Buccaneers, 8-9, get a home playoff game, ladies and gentlemen, because they're the division winners. Cowboys had it in the bag, but they lost to the Commanders. But that's another story. Cowboys still in a big game. Buccaneers, this ought to be a good one. Playoff Brady will be there. Pollard will be there. CeeDee Lamb will be there. Dak Prescott will be there. Everybody will be there for that game tomorrow. I don't know of any injuries. This ought to be good. You can check that game out tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus. That's right. So yeah, so far that is the go baby. All right. I'm sorry, emotions get ahead of me. But that is the scores and stats for the playoffs, man. NFL playoffs. How's everybody doing? What's going on, Rod? Notes, welcome, brother. Welcome, my brothers.
Hey, I'm here. What's going on?
Good to see y'all, man. What's going on, man?
How's my audio?
Got feedback.
You sound good. Hold on, let me get rid of that. You should be all right, man. Say something now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Yeah.
I had my loop back on. That's why.
I'm cool. I just finished up a podcast recording, so I'm here. I'm
Hey,
listening.
man, plug your podcast, my brother.
Oh no, this isn't for the podcast is Zero Noise podcast. That's coming up.
Yes.
This podcast I recorded tonight is for 2 young ladies. It's called OTB. Oh, that bitch podcast.
Oh, I like it. When's it coming?
They sat up here and they drank. They sat up here and they drank 4 different whiskeys.
What?
And they treat whiskeys as though they are people. And they talk about the whiskeys like they people. Like the way it tastes is a reflection of somebody's character.
What?
And they done sat up here and got lit. And they done got cheese. They got cheese and bread.
What?
And like 4 different whiskeys. So yeah, they chilling.
Wow.
But I'm good. Everything is good. What up, everybody?
Hey, so what's the podcast about? Like, what are they discussing?
They talking about whiskey.
Oh, for real? Hey, when is this coming out?
They're not tackling global issues and nothing. They drinking whiskey. That's all they doing is talking about whiskey.
I love it. When can we check it out? Y'all do a live or is it a pre-record?
It was the first one, so they haven't decided exactly where they want to put it yet. But
man,
we'll make sure to plug it in future weeks.
Please do, man. I'd love to check that out, man. I love
absolutely
stuff that's outside the box, definitely, man. Welcome to Talk That Stuff. Once again, DJ Wild Body here, first of the year, missing some panel members. Hopefully they're on their way. Yeah, man. So crazy week of football. The Jaguars come back and they win by 1 point. The Chargers, I think they're cursed, man. I don't think it's the Marty Schottenheimer thing. I think this team cannot seem to get it right. They play great in the regular season, and then when the playoffs show up, things happen. And also another game, I don't know if you guys checked out the Miami Buffalo game, man, but that game was to the wire, man. Whoever that QB was came to play, man. So shout out to the Dolphins.
It absolutely was. I watched that game. And yeah, it was. They hung around a lot longer than I thought they would. But Josh Allen made a lot of mistakes too.
Yeah.
They hung around, and you can't let a young team like that hang around because they're popular.
Word up. You're right. And it's football. All these people are professional. They didn't get here just being sorry all year. Shout out to Tay Lee in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Tay Lee in the building. They're gonna need that bread. Let's go. And make sure they eat plenty of bread too to sop up that whiskey. Was the whiskey good, man?
Listen, they got some obscure stuff. Like, what I'm saying? I'm not a big drinker at this point. They had some mad obscure liquor. The one that I tasted, it was not good. It was PBR makes a whiskey.
Oh shit.
So, PBR is PBR. So imagine PBR like Pabst Blue Ribbon make a whiskey.
Wow.
We're not talking about no 1738 right here.
Right.
So, yeah, it was an interesting taste, and I'm not a fan.
Okay, go Barkley. Sorry, man. Barkley, get the first down, ladies and gentlemen, to give you some updates on the game. Shout out to Kareem Cooper saying that the link doesn't work on his iPhone. He's the only one in America that can't get the Zoom link to work.
Yeah, he don't want to jump in the pod because his team playing.
Yeah, he gonna be. I don't know. Usually Kareem Coop always seems to vanish at the right time. Hey, what's going on, Miss Jewel? How you doing, man? Welcome back. Good to see you. There with Big Sis, you know what I mean?
We here at the house watching this corny ass Giants game.
Corny? Come on now, you can't say this is electrified.
I know it's loud over here, so
go, baby, go!
Oh, here we go.
I'm still working. Wide body. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right, brother. All right. Hey, us and Giant Nation like to thank you for tuning into our game to check us out, see what we about. Y'all better handle business tomorrow.
We actually was out, and we came to my house for intermission, and we're actually supposed to be out with a crew, but we started drinking, and the game is on.
Oh boy!
Because the Mister has company over, watching the game. Shut up. All is well, though. I missed y'all.
Miss you too, man.
Wait, here goes sis. Here goes sis.
What's up, sis?
Here goes sister. Your brother said, hey, sister.
How you doing?
He said, how you doing?
Y'all drinking tequila?
No, actually. Tito's and...
Tito's? Ooh, y'all playing today. Yeah, man, we want to continue on the health shit, but we might push that back because I need Rick's and he has some stuff lined up too. But yeah,
Where Rick's at?
Rick's had a prior engagement and Malcolm is currently out of town. So
okay.
And there's Dixie Freely in the building.
Dixie on?
What's up, Dixie Freely, man? Back in the past, what's going on? My guy? Copy invite link. Can't hear him yet. Coop, I don't understand how Cooper can't use the Zoom app on his iPhone, man. Ain't like he got a Cricket phone. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I
can hear you, bro. I can hear you.
And then I'm
Hey, Katie said he want to laugh at you so bad, but he can't.
No.
So,
your sister said y'all got to bring it. It's cool.
What you say?
Your sister talking shit about you.
What she say about me?
She said she forgot you are a Giants fan.
Oh yeah, you know
a fucking Giants fan. That's what she said.
I used to go to their house and watch the game, and if we beat the Cowboys, I get kicked out nicely and shit.
Oh, you definitely getting kicked. You definitely getting kicked out. You see, I'm getting my hair did.
Yeah, I see. What you getting done? Okay.
Sis is just there she go. Hey. All right. I'm gonna go on mute.
All right, we'll be
I'm gonna go on mute. But y'all good? Dixie!
Yeah.
What up? What up, people?
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, you too.
I missed you, Dixie. You back, fool?
Yeah, I'm coming back for a little minute.
Dixie!
Dixie Freely in the building.
Give it to him. That's my guy right there. Dixie.
Y'all been good?
Missed you, man.
Yeah, I missed y'all too. I've been trying to get in here for the last few weeks, but I've been falling asleep at this time.
Oh, Lord.
It's all good. Hey, you're here now, though, man. You're here now. Hold on, man. I got to get my...
I just woke up.
Right. Roll out! Damn, was he throwing the ball? I'm sorry. Excuse me. My bad.
Oh, you good? I'm watching it well.
Oh, you went and put on the Jeff Hostetler jersey, I see.
Look, hit the road, Jack. He went and put his fucking
The
jersey
Jeff
on.
Hostetler jersey, though.
You don't want to put the Ken Graham joint on.
Hey, let me ask y'all a question. Tomorrow being Martin Luther King's birthday, and a lot of the banks are shut down. What do you think about companies that don't celebrate or observe Martin Luther King's holiday?
They come to like mine. I think they full of it because they want to do all this diversity talk, all this heritage talk, but they won't even give us MLK Day.
Right. Now, I'm like this with that. I would like the day off. I don't need vacation. I don't need holiday pay, but I would like to be able to take a floating holiday or a vacation day if I wanted to. But it's a shame that a lot of companies don't observe this day, and it's like it's real important to. I mean, it's kind of like we celebrate the independence deals and Labor Day and all that shit. I think it.
Yeah, for sure. Cause that is, I mean, it's close to Independence Day for us.
Right. Absolutely. Damn.
Yeah, the thing is, like the company I'm with now, they don't do it, but all of our clients do.
So y'all, right?
Yeah. So it's like a day we don't really have to deal with clients at all. I mean, that's a positive, but at the same time, kind of shines a light on us because some of the clients will be like, "What? Y'all not off tomorrow?" I'm like, "Nah."
Right. Yeah, that says something. It goes. I mean, I think if the bank is closed, we should be closed. If the commerce ain't moving, we shouldn't be moving.
Yep.
I definitely think companies should close on Martin Luther King Day, but at the same time, he fought for us to have the right to have equality and to be able to work.
True.
And not suffer any consequences when it comes to race, creed, color, sexuality, things of that nature. So, if a company chooses to stay open, I think it's fair game to ask why. I think it's an honest question, but me personally, I would like to have the day off if I was still in corporate. Every corporate job I worked had the day off, so
yeah, this is the first time I didn't. This is the first company I've been with in my career that didn't do it. Everybody else did. I understand now you can't shut down the plants all the time because a lot of that stuff has to run 24 hours. If not, then they'll lose the batches. But they can give them a floating holiday or something. But this is the first company I've ever worked for, period, that didn't do it. And like I said, and it kind of makes you a little embarrassed when your clients are like, really, y'all not using these are people that are not African American saying this. They're like, really, y'all not off? I'm like, no.
But listen,
no, we're not off. I'm like,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
it is. I say that so strongly now because I stayed in Louisiana a year before I moved. I'm in Florida now, but I stayed in Louisiana a year. And Martin Luther King birthday, that day, was celebrated like it was the 4th of July. There was cookouts, and I really saw, I'm down south now, and I had to take a step back and think about the shit that they went through back in the before the civil rights, all the segregation and shit and things they went through. So these people really celebrate that holiday, man. I don't know. I know you being from Alabama, is it kind of that like that as well?
I don't recall us going as far as barbecuing and stuff because it usually was cold in January. But I do remember like the families would get together and just hang out together and stuff like it was a holiday. Like I said, maybe it wasn't until like last 3 years that I did not have that day off. So I guess I took it for granted. Just didn't think it would never not happen. But the only other time I ever seen that was with, I don't know if they ever did it, but the state of Arizona doesn't recognize it either.
Right.
At least up until the last time I checked, they did.
That was McCain, I believe, back in the.
Yep.
Can I ask a question of the panel?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime, brother.
So 2023, and this speech happened 60 years ago. Do you think that the legacy of and what Martin Luther King stood for, does it still resonate? Or,
great question.
60 years later,
getting there, right?
What does MLK? What does it mean to people?
Are you asking us personally, or are we thinking like for society?
Yeah, I'm asking you and what you observe, like you personally, as well as what you
Okay.
observe overall.
Well, because of the kind of work I do, and I'm looking around, I'm usually the only black face. It's funny you ask because like maybe a week ago, see, Pfizer just bought one of our clients, right? So we had to do this big meet and greet. I'm talking about 50 people on a conference call, everyone showing their profile pics, and I'm just looking. And it's just that old joke. Who was that? I think it was Eddie Griffin. He was like, white. And then it was me. And, you know, so being in situations like that always make me appreciative of the MLKs, the Malcolm X's, and this and that. You know, appreciate that I'm able to get this opportunity. One, but two, it also reminds me of what they was fighting against.
Right,
you know,
right.
So when you're constantly dealing with that on a daily basis, when you're exposed to stuff like that on a daily basis, you're going to always be mindful of the fighters before you and what they was fighting against. Because what they're fighting against is still here. It's just not as overt. But as far as society go, now that's me personally. As far as society go, and I would say if they do revere Martin Luther King or respect what he's done, or hold him in high regard or care about his legacy, we doing a terrible job.
Oh my God.
Like just some of the stuff that we engage in, you know, and that ain't my us on the panel, or you know, you just out in the you know what I mean.
I got you.
We could do much better.
I feel that I agree with it. As far as me, I mean, I didn't grow up in that era, but you know, my parents grew up in that shit, and it's not lost on me, but I think it's lost on society. I think a lot of, you know, at a time in our age, like, you know, teenagers, and even before that, we were aware of what he did, and with the Malcolm X's of the world, and the marches and the sit-ins and stuff. I don't think the youth, I don't think they're well equipped with. They're not. I think it's lost on them. I don't think they understand what actually it is. Know a name, black guy said a speech. Okay, we got the day off from school.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of faded away a little bit, man, because
you
know, I thought
Obama might be their MLK.
So think about it like this. It's 60 years since, let's just say, the I Have a Dream speech. So if you're 17 or 18 years old, you have the same relationship with Dr. King did as we had when we was growing up with World War II, right? World War II, Great Depression. So as much as that impacted our lives or impacted our perspective, the I Have a Dream speech is impacting a lot of young people's perspective. It seems so distant away that it don't resonate the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, I don't even look at it as in terms of what it did involving racial justice in today's world. I look at it from the perspective of Dr. King taught everybody how to organize the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Because he attempted to use, and what made him so deadly was that he was using the same American doctrine and folklore that gave Americans pride in being American and saying that it was a democracy. He used that against the system.
Wow.
He pointed out the fact that the system was wrong by saying, you know, what I'm talking about is true democracy. All men are created equal.
Right.
And so that's kind of the legacy to me at this point, because after Dr. King, you had the labor rights movement in California. You had the women's movement in the 70s. Nowadays, well, after that and up until nowadays as well, you had an LGBTQ movement and all that as well. So this individualization, people trying to fight for their own rights, everybody learned how to do that, in essence, from Dr. King.
Mm-hmm.
So that holds more of an impact than what his thoughts were about desegregation, because we know that although things on the surface are desegregated, in many ways it's not, bro.
Yeah.
It's not desegregated at all. I mean, yeah, Dixie works at a place where, you know, he's an African American that's working amongst a large white majority. As I am, I'm working amongst a large white majority.
Right.
Until I go to the high school that's in a black neighborhood, and you know, it's little to no white individuals that are there. So, you know, unfortunately, we kind of lost that charge when it came to racial integration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons that he looked at so positively from other people is because he kind of showed them the right way to do it. Because truthfully, America had been a culture of violence all the way up until that point.
Well, right.
Like, if you wanted to make change in society, somebody had to die. And unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, it showed that we still in the culture of violence because Martin Luther King got murdered.
Exactly.
Hey, real quick before we get to Monica, I like the chat real quick. Tay Lee says they're gonna. He said, I think the people that are controlling the narrative of MLK's legacies are only preaching the pity and the piety, and nonviolent aspect of his message.
Yep.
They don't shine a light on the part of his overall message about equal economics as well. And then that part of his message got him killed. Sorry I missed your word up there, Tay Lee. What you saying, Monica? We were saying you had something?
No, I just first and foremost, I think that we don't discuss our African American scholars, you know, our African American leaders enough. We wait until a birthday, we wait until a month to celebrate, and for budgetary reasons with certain districts, it's limited. I remember when I was in school, we had plays and each student took a portion of the speech and had to read the speech on stage. Parents would come out and we would, you know, recite his speech. We had a whole program lined up. I haven't been a part of something to that magnitude since my oldest two children were in school, and that was in Monmouth County. I've been living up here for 22 years, and my last two children have never been a part of a program associated with Martin Luther King or any African American leader.
That's crazy.
And if you go to your Board of Education school board meetings, you hear more about, and this is no disrespect to this community, you hear more about LGBTQ.
Yes.
And them putting or incorporating their movement into a curriculum versus African American studies, which is more so going back to being an elective versus being a part of an actual curriculum.
Right.
So, what?
Go ahead, Monica.
I gotta disagree with you. Let me tell you why I gotta disagree with you, Monica. If the value of Black people in our schools and in our society is only pointing out those people who are exceptional, that's a problem. And so the lesson to be learned, you write about there being LGBTQ stuff that's embedded in the curriculum differently. And truthfully, it's embedded in the curriculum in a way that the history of African Americans should be embedded, because it's embedded in everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know who Althea Gibson is. You know, I learned about Wilma Rudolph, who was like, I think she was the first Black woman to serve in the U.S. House of Representatives and stuff like that. But after her picture was up on the wall, and then at the end of the month, it was over. So when we was growing up, they tried to encourage us to focus on heroes and holidays, when in actuality, African Americans contributed to American history and American culture, period. Right. So I don't fuck with Black History Month. I don't do Black History programs. I do celebrations throughout the course of the year to celebrate what African American people have done and what students should have pride in. You know, if we just solely focus on, you know, I remember back in the day, you do a report that say, hey, take this African American pioneer and write a report about him. That's limiting your understanding in a way to what one person did. And typically what that one person did was something that supported or assisted economics or white people wealth in a way. So I'm all for celebration, but I want to do it all the time, and I want to do it for big things and small things.
Tell me what you're disagreeing, because I think we said the same thing, but I need to know what you're disagreeing with me about so that I can clarify what I was saying, because everything you said, that's what I was saying.
So what I would say is my disagreement is with an anticipation from us, or what you spoke about, just to make sure I'm clear. You talked about how there wasn't an opportunity, like there wasn't an opportunity like normal to do something like a Black History program or something like that.
No, I'm speaking on my experience with my children today. Not my two oldest children and what I experienced with them. I'm talking about my two youngest children.
Yeah, it might be that way.
And the experience, right, where I'm at. First of all, I don't live in the same area that I lived in with my first two children. I live in a totally different area, and the dynamic has changed with what my two oldest children dealt with versus what my two youngest children have dealt with. And after Martin Luther King birthday passed, is never brought up again. Black History Month is the only time where Black people are celebrated for whatever their heroic accomplishments were. After that, it's done.
Oh, so I don't disagree with you there.
Right. And the feedback that I have gotten from the school board meetings was there's been curriculum changes because the board, first of all, the population of parents don't come out to vote on what they believe should be added to the curriculum or removed from the curriculum or suggested. Rather, it's left up to the school board to decide what's more important, African American studies or LGBTQ. When it comes down to African American studies, it's been moved back to not a part of a permanent curriculum, rather an elective. So a student can elect to take African American studies versus it being a permanent part of the curriculum, and LGBTQ has been moved into a permanent part of a curriculum.
That's crazy. What the hell do I need to be educated with that? Is that something? Never mind.
I think that discussion.
And the point I was trying to make is parent participation is very important when it comes to educating your children and what they believe should be incorporated in a curriculum. If the parents are not showing up to say, why are you removing African American studies, or why are you not incorporating Latin American studies, but you're focusing on gender specific or gender sensitive topics that are being put into permanent positions in a curriculum? If the parents aren't there to speak up, the school board is going to select what they believe is important. And the war that is being shown on the news, which I'm going to say this very respectively, news reporters will say Black on Black crime real quick, but we don't hear white on white crime. We don't hear Latin on Latin crime. We don't hear Asian on Asian crime. We hear Black on Black crime. And when they're looking at that and they're associating Black on Black crime with Black and brown people in their minds, because I've been to a few school board meetings and they said this, why celebrate anything Black if all we're showcasing is violence?
Wow.
I'm actual fact.
Wow. Let me get the chat real quick. I'm going to finish. He said, Taylor says, MLK realized that integration was a great thing. He said that he felt that he led Negroes into a burning house. And he retracted the message. But that's so crazy. Like, so we don't stand for shit. What's up, RTO? Welcome, brother. That's crazy. So I was gonna ask a question. So you think what the hell was I gonna ask? Oh man. So I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm just not in favor of I'm not going, and my kids go to a mostly white school in a suburban district. I'm not going to a Black History program in my kids' school because my kids understand and know fully well who they are.
Right.
They need to be learning about Black folks. They need to be writing essays. They need other people, adults need to be doing the studying and doing the work. And it's so unfortunate that things are so touchy and so political that you can't have an honest conversation about. I would rather go to, I say it like this, I would rather go to a conversation about what is the current status of African American students in our school district and what needs to be put into place to support. Why are Black kids reading at a lower level than the other kids, even though the household income level is relatively equal or is close to being equal? Why are Black students being suspended at a higher rate than white students? Those are the kind of things that I would love to do, as opposed to, okay, somebody gonna come and they're gonna read a poem about Harriet Tubman.
Real
Or
shit.
somebody gonna, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody gonna come up and talk about Benjamin Banneker. He designed Washington, D.C. But did you know that he also wrote almanacs? Did you know that he got killed under questionable circumstances and his house got burned down along with all of the things that he wrote? You know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna study it, I mean, let's study it and have a real honest conversation. Why are we studying? Like, think about it like this. Back in the day, they used to, during Black History programs, they would talk about Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks was the first American to die in the Revolutionary War. Why is that something that's necessarily celebrated when Crispus Attucks had no rights? None. As a free Black, as supposedly, I don't even know the whole story. But
I hear you,
was he a free Black man in Boston at that time? I don't know. Go ahead, bro.
I just want to say this real quick. I get what you're saying. Don't subscribe to tokenism. That's what I'm hearing. Tokenism.
Because inevitably it makes our kids believe that they have to be exceptional to be human.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be exceptional. You can go to work and be a plumber.
I hear that.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess the only slippery slope I can see in your position, and I kind of share your position, just not as strong, because when I was in school, they act like we ain't doing a goddamn thing. We didn't contribute nothing. So when you go through that kind of experience, you kind of leave there feeling like, inferior because you ain't made no contributions. We spent a whole week name dropping Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. Why he couldn't give a few minutes to the Buffalo Soldiers. Hell, they was both fighting in the same damn battle.
Yeah, I feel like Alabama gonna put the hate on extra thick.
Boy, they may have had us thinking nothing.
And high.
So so I feel you saying, but I think the validation I would have appreciated in high school would have welcomed some mentions of some people who contributed something.
I get it, but I think that if you do that, you also got to look at the present too, because here's the other thing that's going on. The reason you're not hearing Black History Month stuff is because we're distracted. Everybody is distracted by what is happening in the present. We so try to stay in tune with the latest gossip, the latest story, the latest this, the latest that we don't have an opportunity to go back. We don't even take the opportunity to go back and read about the things that have happened. So but truthfully, knowing your history is important. Knowing your present is important too. And a lot of our people don't know our present.
Right on.
We don't know what's really happening in front of us because we focus on bullshit.
That should build foundation. That tribute.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff we need to work on. We sit up here and but too many sit up here and publicly went at Deion Sanders for taking an opportunity he felt was good for him. Meanwhile, sat silent on Auburn University not hiring Cadillac Williams. So,
wow,
he did it at the same time, and that's when I say, you know what, I'm done.
I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know about that
They put a
either.
What
wool
you
over.
say? You said they didn't hire Cadillac Williams for what?
I said the whole Cadillac controversy and Dion controversy was happening at the same time.
And I didn't even hear about no
We
Cadillac
chose
Williams.
to criticize Dion rather than criticize Auburn for not hiring
I'm
Cadillac.
not hiring.
To me, that's the way the criticism should have been going. But no, we took the easy route. We're gonna criticize on our own because he want to do a little bit better for himself.
And I think that's absolutely on us, because whatever criticism that could have came about, that's one thing. We love to criticize, and our criticisms of each other get magnified because we only 13 or 14% of the total population. Our criticisms get magnified. Our dialogue get magnified. We have all our dialogue online, but the unfortunate truth is we end up centering in on what is the negative, what is the worst perspective of whatever situation is going on, and we're gonna take that and we're gonna let that last. Whatever conversation that had to go on about Dion, whatever happened on Twitter, we should have been able to keep that to ourselves and say, hey, if you disagree with it, you need to just sit back and you need to watch.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
That's something I just don't agree with. I'm not an advocate for that. Because I'm gonna tell you, other groups of individuals, they have a lot of inner dialogue, but that dialogue is not public. Right. And there are ethnic groups that have conversations about certain individuals or certain things or certain people, and they unify in their stance on it.
Yep. They stick to the code too.
Oh man, fuck are you doing?
But in the same token, it's about money too. You know what I'm saying? It's all about money.
Hey, I got the chat buzzing real quick. Tay Lee, he said, let's go this one. The education that our children are getting is basically programming them not to question anything and just go along with the program. Well said.
Exactly.
We as blacks have to educate our children about us and not just about the peaceful blacks in our existence. Black history started way before slavery. It starts at home. I agree with that too.
I disagree with that. I don't think education in practice, from what I see, I'm just gonna say from what I see, modern education is not necessarily teaching that, but I think that we still make decisions. We make decisions about what we want to do without all the information. Mm-hmm. I mean, the education as a field has never focused so much on individual belief, individual pathways, so on and so forth, but we just don't give people the entire picture. We give people the picture of what we did or what we think they should have did, instead of teaching people how to critically think and make choices.
Where the hell does the LGBTQ come in with curriculum though? Like what are we supposed to be learning here? Like,
maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just being objective. Wallace, you can tell us. You're the resident educator on the panel. Is it history? The history of that community? Is that what's
I think largely LGBTQ history is not being. I don't see it being taught. It's not a curriculum standard or anything like that. What is being taught though is tolerance. What is being taught is being inclusive, creating an inclusive environment, acknowledging and accepting the fact that there are people who have different perspectives or different ways of living, and this, that, and the third. What makes it troublesome in my book is that you find that it clouds. Our kids don't have all the information, is what I'm saying. They don't get all the information. What frequently happens is, they have questions, or they have, or they see things that make them curious, and we don't know how to respond to it.
Right.
And then, in the same token, because it's such a part of the conversation, it's such a mainstream part of the conversation, individuals sometimes make an attempt to fit into that mold that may not necessarily, they may just be necessarily looking for identity, their own identity, their own self-image. There are several kids, I ain't even gonna get into it. I'm just gonna say it that way. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna say that there are individuals who, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it that way. I just put it like that.
Can I say this? It's okay to tell a motherfucker he wrong. Can I cuss? I'm sorry.
You
don't know me.
Motherfucking right.
Hey, I mean, if you wrong, you wrong. That's wrong. We're not supposed to be doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
If y'all know what I mean.
Hell yeah.
And it's okay to tell. It's okay to tell them.
Yeah, they try to censor you. They try to take you to the ringer like you didn't kill somebody, dog. You gotta be careful of your words and shit. Like, man, I think that shit is totally wrong. If that shouldn't be nowhere near anywhere.
Do you feel what's up?
So it hurts.
Do you feel like if they're teaching LGBTQ curriculum, it's like, I guess, what is it when someone said some racist shit to someone at a company and they had to go do, what is that, sensitivity training or some shit like that?
Hey, yo, let me piggyback on that. First, I want to say what's up to everybody. I don't want to be on here long. I wanted to kind of push back on something that I just heard Wallace say. My Twitter thumbs couldn't type fast enough to say what I had to say. But you say you disagree with the statement that I forget which part of what I typed that you disagreed with, but let me just say it from this standpoint. Education, I know you're an educator. I live with an educator. I know a lot of educators. I have a lot of them in my family. The curriculums that we teach in public schools for our children is basically programming, because everything that you basically learn except for the math and the sciences, they've been tampered with to project a certain outcome or project a certain thing. So when it's like that, it's basically programming. What I was saying what my statement was, we have to learn how to teach our children about us. It starts at home. For a lot of us, we grew up. A lot of us grew up with Afrocentric people in our circle, and people that taught us about stuff, that was way different than the things they would give us to talk about for Black history. I don't know. A lot of us are in here around the same age, but I can remember being in elementary and them sending the Scholastic posters out with, Nikki Giovanni and Alex Haley. And if you look at everybody that they had a poster of, it was nobody that came left of what was presented. There was no Malcolm X on the wall. There was no Marcus Garvey on the wall. There was no Nat Love on the wall. There was no Denmark Vesey on the wall. There was no people like that to show you the opposite side of things, because for every peaceful person, you had another person that was fighting against the system that wasn't handpicked in a way, I should say, in a way to where, to have you believe that there wasn't people that was diligently fighting for the same equalities and the same thing that MLK were fighting for. So when I talk about the education aspect of it, education can, the curriculum will teach you certain things that'll have you going against certain things that aren't factually true, and you'll be getting along to go along to get along. My daughter was doing a project one year about the quote unquote founder of cellular technology, and it was a white man. I knew for a fact it wasn't a white man, so I went back into my archives and I brought forth to her attention, like, listen, if you're gonna do a report, you need to be factual. That's not factual. So if you're doing something about this is who you need to be researching right here. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to fight me on it, like, this, I'm telling you, child, this is the real right here. And it made me think, when she gave me all this, all this resistance, I'm like, wow, my child believes so much in what this book says that she's not even listening and looking like, hey, the person who came up with this looked like you. So when I talk about the programming in certain aspects of the curriculum, like I said, if it's not a math or a science, everything else has been just altered. So it's going to alter you to believe a certain thing, even though, just like how they treat slavery in the books now, right? They treat slavery as if it was a choice. So when you don't own the publishing houses that print these books that facilitate the curriculum, then what are you to do? You have to teach your children Your children need 2 educations, almost damn near 3. You need.
Can I clarify something?
I did miss that.
So there's a difference between education and schooling. You're absolutely right about schooling. Schooling has always had the intent to show you certain things to make you behave a certain way. You absolutely right in that. You're absolutely right. My point in saying what I was saying was school is reiterating how individualized society has become. Decisions were, I mean, family and community decisions in many situations were made to benefit the entire group. Whereas now decisions are being made to support individuals, right? So it's not just about, race, ethnicity, gender. We got to be cognizant of things like age. We got to be cognizant of things like class. We got to be cognizant of all these different things that's going on. I mean, you got kids at elementary school that act like animals. Like they want to be, and I'm not talking about animals like they misbehaving. They call themselves furries.
What?
You know
what I'm saying? That they call themselves furries. I'm telling you this. So you have in our world, we've given people the ability by being inclusive to say you can be exactly whatever it is you want, and I'm obligated to support you in whatever it is, and that's dangerous.
Right. But you know what, Wallace did? But that's like again, it starts at home. It starts at home. So if you do, I don't listen. You could be whatever you want to be as an adult, but like my thing is this: a lot of shit that I feel like my daughter be going off to college here a couple of months. It's my responsibility to, even beforehand, it's my responsibility, man, to show her exactly what it is that she needs to look out for. I teach her in every aspect of her life. She's going to need to hold on to what I determine her blackness, or know about self. Because when you know about self, you tend to not lend yourself to certain shit that's kind of beneath you. Because I feel like what has been lost on us a lot of times is that we no longer take pride in being us. We take pride in being how everybody else is projecting that we should be. But when you teach a solid foundation at your crib about who you are and set the tone for how you should be conducting yourself based on who you are in the principles and things you're taught at your home. Now, mind you, a lot of people ain't being taught that, but a lot of that in which we used to have, we had our grandparents who was around who used to keep certain things intact, But the older heads and the grandparents now are, at least half the age of what the grandparents and the old heads used to be back in the days. What I'm saying is basically this, and like you said, you're right, but I'm not leaving society to teach my child what my child should know going out here in this world.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people depend on educators like yourself, educators like my wife, educators like my cousins, to teach their children not only reading, writing, arithmetic. They want them to teach them about life skills and how to put on deodorant or how to keep your shoes clean. And like at the end of the day, somebody got to learn how to take accountability. I tell my wife all the time, and she wants to help every kid that she comes in contact with, not just from a learning standpoint, but like my wife bring her work home with her. Me, my job, like, man, once I swipe that badge, I'm like, fuck them people. My wife can't do that, bro. Her commitment to not just being an educator, her commitment to being a people person and a builder. You know what I'm saying? She brings that shit home with her. So so when she telling me certain shit like this, I ain't got to be stepping that child home. I can tell everything that's going on. I said, when you have your parent teacher conference, I said, everything I just told you, you tell me if I'm right or not. And by the time she comes home, she's like, man, you hit it on the head. Because I'm like, I've seen it and I see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So
it may be some codependency going on that hurts.
Of course.
And Wallace, I don't want to get us off topic, but I want to get your, because you are the resident educator. Do you think
Right.
there's, and I'm asking as a reason, this question for personal reason, but do you think that all teachers, just because of the way of your job, you have some come with codependency by default?
You said codependent. What you mean?
Codependency. Yeah, like people pleasing. One help, overextending the help when you may not need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Teaching is very morally grounded as it is. So
But hold on, Wallace. Every teacher
teachers
don't
see
care though.
themselves. That's true. That's true. That's true. And I would say that they are the minority from what I see. But every teacher don't have the right practices. Every teacher doesn't have the right scope. They might care. They might not have the right. They might not have the right strategies. The majority of teachers I've encountered during my career have cared to a degree, at least. The problem comes where instead of doing what Diggerhurst and Dixie talked about, where yes, you have your curriculum focus. You also have your real life focus that you teach as well. I'm just being real. Curriculum, yes, you got books, you got workbooks, you got certain scope and sequence you got to follow, but also there's the informal rules that you teaching kids too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some teachers do very well teaching the content, but can't teach the hidden rules of adulthood. They can't teach it, and mainly they can't teach it because they don't exemplify it themselves. Period. So what I teach teachers is you can't be a good teacher without being a good leader. You got to be a good leader before you can be a good teacher. Period. You got to be able to lead people. Because if you can't lead people, yeah, you know the content, you know what I'm saying, what a mitochondria is, this, that, and third, but ain't nobody going to follow you to understanding it.
Mm.
So getting back to what we was talking about though, yes, I think that teaching as a discipline is rooted in trying to get the most out of people. Like it's rooted in humanity. And what clouds it is there's all these different conversations that all of us are a part of that we got to filter and we got to make sense to kids. And they hearing the same information we hearing and they can't make no more sense of it than we are. So when Diggerhurst talk about, I taught my child this, I taught my child that, this is my child's foundation, everybody is not doing what Diggerhurst is doing. So you get this room where, okay, now I'm a kid and I don't know who I am and what I'm doing, but I'm seeing these people getting a certain amount of attention. I'm seeing these people accepted in this group. So I'm going to try to figure out exactly how I can get that too. And that's how it works. That's just how it works.
You know, it's just a crazy thing, man, because, you know, every year, you know, I get this update of how the classes are going and certain problem kids. And like I said, man, a lot of, you know, like you said previously, a lot of it is, you know, a lot of times parents, and, you know, I used to always hear my mama say, you know, stuff like about when I was young and my sisters and stuff, like, look, you know, keep your legs closed and keep your thing protected because, you know, if you become a parent at a young age, you know, you ain't ready for that responsibility, basically. And I think a lot of it is you have young parents who are so committed to their child's happiness. Like when I was a kid, shit, if I fucked up at school, not only could the principal whoop my ass, I was getting ass whooped when I got home. And if my grandma felt like whooping my ass, she can whoop my ass too. So I had a lot of correction in my home to let me know that, hey, we're standing with them because we're sending you to school, man, to get an education or to be taught. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you're gonna do. That's the only job that you got. So that's what you're gonna do. It wasn't no my mom saying I gotta do this. Well, I'm gonna call my mom to come up here and she gonna cuss you out and all that other shit like that. See, that's why I couldn't teach. I couldn't be a teacher in today's environment. Well, let me correct that. I'm glad I'm not a woman teaching in today's environment because I've yet to see many men face that kind of backlash or things like that in the teaching sector. And maybe if we did have more men in the teaching field, you would have a lot more correction in terms of behavioral things, for as much as you can control within the realm of the classroom. But you don't. There's no. You know what it is. There's no investment in the child's future scholastically, because you know what, a mom can send her kid to school decked out in the latest fastest chains, hairstyle, whatever the case may be, and she forks over hundreds of dollars to make sure a kid looks presentable, right? But how much money, how much equity is she putting into his future? This nigga bringing home C's and D's, right? Man, I need to pay for a tutor, or I need to find out tutoring so he can be abreast of what's going on, because I don't care how fresh to death you are. Man, if you got an empty ass head, you ain't got no knowledge in it, man, you just a duck ready to get plucked. And I'll be damned if I send my child out there in the world like that. Misinformed, uneducated. So we got to get to a point where we stop putting value in the things that depreciate as soon as we swipe our card or hand our bills over that cash register, and start putting the emphasis and putting the putting the equity and the money behind making sure that our children, even if they don't do nothing but complete high school, getting them to where they can be successful in that term. Because the more that you obtain success in your life, the more you're going to want it. Nobody has ever sat around on their ass every day and became a millionaire. Nobody. But the allure of what's going on outside of what was mandated, like school and all that good stuff, that gets praised and that gets all the glory. So meanwhile, while we're not teaching our kids that half the music they listen to is unauthentic and not real, we're leaving those things to educate, to teach our children, or to entertain them and keep them out of our way until we get what we need to get done. I've never been the type of parent that, I don't feel like I have, that put anything before my children. If it meant me not going somewhere so I can watch them or keep an eye on them, that's what I did. So there's nothing in my life that was, if my children need me or if I need to be there for them, that I'm like, well, I'm going to the club. I'll be back. You'll be back you'll be fine till I get back, type of shit. Like, like, hey, my wife said, I'm going here. You got somewhere to go tonight? Even if I did, like, I did, but that's okay. I'm staying at home. So you go ahead. So it need to be one of us here that hold down the fort or whatever.
Well, know what's go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? You know what's crazy? And I was just thinking, as you were saying it, a lot of we asked like why these kids are, or some of these kids can't sit in the classroom and disrupt. It all starts at the house, and it all a lot of attributes to babies having babies, and like you say, we had in school we had the kid that had all the fly shit, and the parents they thought that was the way to be a good parent, was to make sure my kids had the Jordans and whatever else fucking was popular at the time. But like you say, no tutors or nothing. This kid ain't even paying attention and getting good grades in school.
Yeah, and I mean it happens all the time. It happens it's so prevalent, bro. Like just having these conversations with my wife daily, and how when the mothers come to the schools and they're like, I don't know where he get this from, this and this. And when my wife said that, I was like, bullshit. I said, because usually a child reflects what their household is about. Right. So if he's coming up there being disruptive, and you come here playing this old song and dance talking about, I'm so sorry, I don't know where he get this from. I said a lot of young men do that I see and I encounter every day. It's almost, you can tell the type of dudes who I can tell that Wallace had a dad around. I can tell why everybody had a dad around. You know what I'm saying? I can tell certain people that I know of, I can tell when they had a father around.
Yep. You know what it is though? And I want to respond to that when you're done, brother. Go ahead.
But I can tell that. So when I see these young dudes that are, when she comes home and tell me about those things, when she tells me these stories, first thing I ask, where the dad at? Well, my wife can give me a whole rundown of what they whole household family life is like. I said, because they're living with a mother who's already on top of that, she's giving off all her feminine energy off to him. So she get mad at him, she cussing him out, she probably talking bad about his dad not being there, this, that, or the third. So that's a culmination of years of programming on top of you not having a male influence around to kind of give you a balance. Because I'm not going to say that as men we shouldn't have balance. We should be so masculine. We ain't got no emotion. No, I'm just saying with a man around, you know how to conduct yourself. And times when you want to be emotional, you got to put those emotions in check because everything doesn't require an emotional response.
Right.
So so again, you putting money into Jordan, you putting money into fly chains and the latest polos and all this good stuff here. But how much money or how much time are you setting aside to reaffirm that you care and you love about your child by doing the things that's going to actually build them than actually destroy them? Because I like to look good like the next man, but my mom wasn't going out buying no $100 Jordan. You didn't take these dunks, nigga, and be satisfied. If you don't want that, you don't want nothing. You know what I'm saying? So like my but again, it started at home. But what does a child do when they don't have the best representation of what family life should be like, or what a man in a household should be like when they're not even giving that, they're not even giving that from day one. So that's it. My bad, Wallace.
No, I just was gonna chime in on that. You said the magic word. I think it's balance. I think in working with young kids, when working with kids, especially working with young men, well, no, young ladies too.
Oh yeah,
I think that learning to be a total person comes with having different perspectives and possibly different genders in your house. Mm-hmm. Because I could tell a young man by how he talks to people. Mm-hmm. I could tell a young man a young man that got a father in his house by how he talked to people. There's limitations. There's parameters. And if it ain't no limits or it ain't no parameters, it means that parents was trying to compensate for something.
Overcompensate.
And not providing that. Overcompensate. And then you got to ask this too. How do you show love as an adult? Like, I'll give you an example. I'm doing all this work about Black men teachers, but that ain't the problem. It starts with Black fathers.
Oh, okay.
Indeed.
It starts with Black fathers, because if all this energy that's trying to push young people towards going to school to be educators, what if you put that towards programs that assisted and strengthened Black fathers instead? Because they're the first teachers. All the statistics say it's more Black fathers in the home than it ever has been. Black fathers are the most likely to be in their child's life. Supposedly,
I think mothers are the first teachers, but fathers are the reinforcement of the teachings. Because the father brings forth the discipline. So I'm saying, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But what I'm saying, I'll just make this real quick. But what I'm saying is, there are also mothers that don't know how to express love.
True.
There are mothers that don't know how to have that balance. So many times when you have both parents, you have balance. You may have a parent that's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved, a little bit to themselves. They love language, or they love perspective, may be a little bit more around creating a certain level of structure. Every household in my hood or every household on my street had one parent that was the drill sergeant and had one parent that was the fun parent.
Me.
And sometimes it was men. Sometimes it was men that was the drill sergeant, and sometimes it wasn't. Now, I know we talk a lot about roles and stuff like that, but that's kind of how it was. But you show love in the ways that you learn how to show love. And if you don't, you try to do the exact opposite of what you was taught by a certain person.
And sometimes you graduate from because sometimes, a child knows when it's not getting the things that they need in order to be who they need to be. So a lot of times, man, you'll find kids that you look at their household. It's an anomaly too, because I've seen children to where I look at their household, and I go in a lot of homes every day, and I see how the mothers are just, man, they just oh man, they get berating. I'm talking about, berating them. I'm looking like, wow. And what happens is you see that transformation within them, and these are young men we're talking about.
Right.
So when they go out here, so I was at this house one day doing a service call, and man, I mean, this dude was so emotionally unwound. He was going on a tangent. He was screaming to the top of his lungs. And this dude had to be about at least about, oh, he should have been like between 20 and about 24. But the way he was acting a cross between a young woman, a foul-mouthed young woman, and a spoiled entitled child. It was like a mixture of that. I was looking in his direction like, wow, like man, like you can tell that this dude ain't really had no masculine guidance in his life, man, because everything that the way he's treating this current situation is 100% emotional.
Listen.
And I don't want to get too far off course, but I think that a lot of times, man, like, you know, I made it my business, dude. When I was married, of course, when I had my daughter, but I made it my business, bro, to be like, you know what? No matter what happens after this, I'm gonna always be here for her. In terms of, I'm gonna always be that voice of reason. I'm gonna always be here, you know, to my ability to be here and give her the real and not sugarcoat it, because the world out there waiting for her, but they waiting for her to be a victim so they can victimize her. You know what I'm saying? Same thing for my son too. I try to tell him as much stuff as I can. I understand that, you know, in life we're gonna all make our own choices and decisions and mistakes, because there's a difference between a mistake and a bad choice. Bad choice. A mistake is not a mistake. Is to me, a mistake is when you unwillingly do something without having the prior knowledge. Making a bad choice is having the knowledge, but thinking you're going to have a different outcome, so you're going to do it anyway.
Some mistakes are reversible. Some mistakes you don't get another chance to make that. You know?
Right. So, but I agree, Wallace, that, you know, and then you have some households where the mom and the dad ain't shit. So
I've seen that.
So when do you? So at some point, some kids they feed into it and they become the 2.0 version of their parents, and some kids, like, they seek outward for it. So it might be a grandparent or a grandfather or neighborhood. So again, a lot of our ills start at home, and until we get our home situated, not just from a discipline and a willingness to be taught and be learned, but also from us being more educated about what's going on around us and what we expose our families and our kids and shit to, and also having some pride and awareness about who we are as people, because I think a lot of Black people are under the guise that all our history started when our feet hit the dirt on this side of the world. That's untrue. So the more we educate ourselves in terms of about, I'm sorry, go ahead, Wyatt.
No, hold right there. I didn't want you to go too far. So when you said, you know what's funny? When I was to come up, man, I knew some people that didn't wanted to be white so bad. They thought this being black was a curse, and like, man, why was I born a black man? Like, why I want to be white so bad, and that's sad to me, man. That tells me a lot.
There's nothing I love more, bro, than the skin. I love being black so much. I can't even put that shit into words how much I love being who I am. I love it. Somebody asked me one time, like, if you had to be any other race on the planet, like, what would you be? And I stopped for a minute. I looked at them like, what? Shit. It's a shirt that's circulating out there on the web, man. I think the shirt says, to some degree, it says, I love being black. The shit's kind of dangerous, but it's fun.
And we definitely different.
I love, man. I love being who I am, bro. I don't think that I don't even think I would enjoy my life as much as if I was any other race or creed or whatever. I don't believe it.
My thing
because you wouldn't even understand what it is. You wouldn't even understand what it is to be you if you were.
No. I know, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of times when people have that kind of thought process, I feel like there's no pride. Again, there's no pride. There's no sense of self-love, a love for your culture, love who you are, love what you come from, love what you you love your genesis. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. That's why I try to enrich my children with that mindset of like, listen, man, love being who you are. Don't you're not better than anybody, but ain't nobody better than you either. But always think highly of yourself in all things that you do.
Let me say this, like too, like even when you were saying, when people, a woman's talking down to kids and talk to them like they ain't shit. What they think this kid's gonna adapt? What's gonna make this kid great? And you talking to him like a piece of shit. You think all of a sudden out the blue he's gonna adapt this way about him that's gonna be so outstanding and so between the lines and so productive. And you're talking to him like he ain't shit. He's
gonna start to see.
You know what?
He's gonna see the man in life. He's gonna start to see the man the same way that the woman, the disgruntled bitter woman, gonna see the man. That's why you have a lot of young cats out here. They'll see a elderly older dude walking by, man, and they'll be cursing up a storm where there was no self correction.
Yeah, I can't do that, man. Still being my age I am.
To this day, I can't do it.
It's the belief though. It's the belief though that only hard times and suffering builds you to be who you are. You gotta have balance. You gotta have. I mean, by making people suffer only, I put it like this: a coach on a basketball team has to work his players to death to get them in shape, to build their endurance, to make sure they know the system, so on and so forth. But they don't start winning until the players see the bigger purpose in that, and the players see the coach as somebody that's a human as well. Because if you don't do that, you'll lose your team.
Right.
It always happens. It happens every time. So you got to do that as a parent too. You have to have your standards, bro. You got to have your standards for doing ways to do things and stuff of that nature. But at the end of the day, they also got to see the reason and the rationale behind what you're doing. They got to see the bigger picture.
Indeed.
I want to go on next. I had something else. So this Young Thug trial, YSL shit going on. I've watched it. I've been in the loop just a little. Well, what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing more and more that these rappers are being prosecuted because of the lyrics, and that shit is being used as exhibit and evidence, and that, to me, is so crazy. I mean, freedom of expression.
Let me tell you this. Then who was that who went through this a few years ago? Was that Meek, or
I forget? Was it?
It was somebody who went through this exact same thing.
AR,
I think
maybe
him too. But I want to say they wanted to use. I think they had to. Either it was in New York, or it was in Pennsylvania. It was in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or New York. One of the two. But they was passing a law into legislation that rap lyrics can be used in court proceedings and investigations and things of that sort.
That's nuts.
But the crazy thing to me is that, man, us, I won't say us, but rap, rap culture as it stands today, nobody's learning anything anymore.
Oh no.
Like nobody's learning. Like most of the people that, at least I can say that we grew up on, we were entertained and we were taught as well. Some of my favorite, I think I was telling you earlier a while about it, how some of my favorite MCs who had knowledge of self when I was growing up, vicariously, they gave me knowledge of self because it made me aware of certain things.
Right.
Even if those things weren't present in my environment, it gave me a leg up about how to look at certain things or how to go about doing certain things. And I think that this present day culture, not saying all of the music, but a good vast majority that's being, get you being bludgeoned over the head with, a lot of it is not informative, it's not teaching, it's not representing no kind of love, it's not giving you no guidance, it's not giving you anything but, negative vibes, basically. A negative outlook on life, and there's no, like Wallace we talked about earlier, there's no balance. You know what I'm saying? Like we love NWA, we love Cube. I know I know Wallace, and I'm a huge Cube fan.
You
But
already know.
Even
I
with
can
that,
I can listen to the entire America's Most Wanted and get something out of it. I
right?
can listen to Lethal Injection, and I can get something out of those things. Although the stories and the narratives they are what they are. At the end of the day, I can make a decision. I can make a choice by listening to that and saying, you know what, I get what he's saying right there. I understand that. But it also helps that I had a father who taught me a long time ago that, hey, this is only entertainment. If these dudes was really just doing what they said they were doing, they had to be locked up.
Bro,
You listen to this shit for what it's
Two
worth.
Live Crew, we put them in the nasty bin. They the nasty bin. Okay. But we ain't going out there trying to do what Two Live Crew was talking about. I mean,
Right,
somewhat.
but at some point we did, but
Yeah, but we,
but
I know
I'm thankful that I had yeah, of course we all got kids here, basically.
You know, bro, real quick. You know, I used to like when I used to go to the video store and I used to see a curtain up in the back, and that was for the adult movies. I like that. I like that. I think that's.
But guess what though? Now there's no fine line between what an adult should see and what a kid
Right,
sees.
that's what I'm
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
Like, that just
like there's no fine line between that no more. But it's not just at the video store you're talking about. It's not just at the grocery store where they used to have the nudie magazines with the black cover or the brown bag over it. You know what I'm saying?
Playboy on
Your social media is wide open. All a kid got to do is have access, man, to and these kids are so advanced when it comes to the finger technologies.
Safe search my ass.
Man, listen, it's amazing to me. My sister was telling me about her granddaughter, and my niece had took her phone, and my great niece has this. She loves what's this shit called, Roblox or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But my sister was like, you know, she had heard, and my sister's always on top of everything, all that information she'd be on top of. She's like, well, I read somewhere where Roblox, where they pedophiles stuff, you going through Roblox, and they be, you know, approaching little kids and stuff. So I try to limit her access to that and this, that, and the third. But my great niece is so drawn to that game, and it made me think about something I was telling my wife about my daughter when my daughter first started to do TikTok. It was called something else. It's called Musically back in the day.
Yeah.
I didn't want my daughter to have it because I knew, because from that aspect, people who pervert things that are supposed to be so innocent just for their own, you know, their own pervertedness and all that good shit. So there's no fine line anymore between shit. I'll take a step further with TikTok. TikTok was basically a kid's thing. But it's more adults on TikTok now.
Amen.
Than children, and not only adults, shit, 40-plus-year-old women shaking their ass doing these TikTok challenges. I'm like, wow, it's like the kids can't have shit.
Right. That's yo. I mean, it ain't lying, because you know the majority of people on TikTok is middle-aged women. So I see them twerking and stuff, and everyone doing dances and stuff. I don't get it, man. I just can't TikTok. Maybe it's me.
It should be a thing where, you know, it almost should be a thing to where when you go sign up for some shit like TikTok, it ought to show you like you got to be at least. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Kyra. She said we were entertained and thought knowledge as well. She said, let's go all the way back to Stethosonic. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. Yeah, you spelling it right. It sounds right. I know what you're talking about. I'm telling my age. Sorry. All right.
Yeah, but you know, dude, we were educated in that aspect of it, because my favorite rapper, maybe my favorite group of all time is Public Enemy. But I can listen to Chuck D rap all day long. And of course I love everybody else, but like Chuck D taught me a lot about black pride and about being black. And that was the first time I ever heard Minister Farrakhan's name was Joe Bum Rush the Show. I still got that record in my record collection. I'm showing my age, of course, but you know, a lot of people in my family were doing, you know, going off to colleges and stuff, and my aunt and uncle, they went to like historically black colleges, and I got a lot of more people in my family who went to HBCUs, and so that aspect of it and taking pride in being at the HBCUs and furthering your education and just being upstanding, like those things were around me. So those are things that I kind of gravitated to because I wanted to be scholastically endowed, in terms of, what I knew and who I rubbed elbows with. And I took pride in being a good student, things like that, because of the people that were around me, And I like, as a kid, you like that gratification of people saying you're smart, or that gratification of people telling you, man, to keep going and you're working toward a purpose and you're trying to do this and trying to, stay on the level or whatever. So we got to start, man, getting households, man, that kind of facilitate that kind of feel and that kind of environment, because every kid ain't gonna be fucking Albert Einstein, but as long as you're there to give them what they need in order to be successful in terms of, obtaining an education of some sort, that's everything.
I think that's generational wealth. You pass that along. Not all the time it's got to be money. You pass along abundance of shit, like knowledge and stuff that you've been through, so you don't repeat the same shit I did, or repeat the good shit that I did.
Right.
I think that's a form of that as well, man. It's just
my only issue, I agree with everything that's been said up to this point. My only issue is I just hate when they switch the rules up for us, because
they have to, man, because we fast adapters, so they have to do that, because not only do we pick up what they put down, we revamp it, and we find a whole new purpose for it. So once we catch up, like listen.
Go ahead. I was talking about the point about the rap lyrics, because there was a white lady named Nancy Brophy who was a novelist who wrote about killing her husband. She wrote a lot of books like that. Then she actually did it.
Damn.
Oh, and they made a movie about her. It's supposed to be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, and the courts decided not to use her novel in court. So it's like, you're gonna do that kind of stuff when it's good. When it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. The way I see
for the gander. Yeah.
If you're gonna do that with the rappers, you do that with everybody. But we
do
know
that with
they
everybody.
do that.
Shit,
That's my only issue.
Right. It's like I was telling my wife one day, we was watching a movie. I think we were watching like Menace to Society or something like that, and it was a part in that movie. I think somebody, I don't know if it was O'Dog to up the gun. Yeah, it was O'Dog up the gun in the convenience store. And when they showed that part on TV, they superimposed that so you couldn't see the gun, right? So I was telling my wife, I said, what's funny about that? And I said, when you watch True Lies or Terminator and all that good shit, Arnold Schwarzenegger could kill 1 million motherfuckers on screen. They're never going to superimpose that image at all. Matter of fact, they welcome that shit. Yeah. I said, but they'll never show a black person with a gun on TV. They'll never do that. And I understand, you probably shouldn't see that, and especially what he did in that convenience store. But I always think about that, how when you watch certain stuff, and how, especially when it got something to do with gun violence, they never do that for Terminator, because it's more white kids watching these white dudes with these guns and these these militias, and they're a little bit more impressionable to where they like, oh shit, well, just like some of the video games that's out. Some of these video games are prepping kids to do the shit they doing out here with the gun violence.
GTA shit, them motherfuckers that live. Some people that live at GTA.
Not only GTA, what's the army joint? What's the Call of Duty?
Oh, that's RTO special.
That's a military simulation shit, man. That's doing army simulation, military simulation shit before you even get a chance to even go to recruitment. So by the time you get your you pass everything else, you're a shoe-in for a gun.
Listen. All right, guys, we're going to end it tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for stopping in tonight. Kyra, good to see you. Stupid autocorrect Farrakhan, I got you. She said at age 5, I was able to see Minister Farrakhan when I lived in the Concourse. My mom at the time was Muslim.
That's what's up.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming through. Check us out on the playback. We'll be back next week. We'll get back on the health kick. We'll have people back and finish the series up. Well, it's good to take off course a little bit. We'll be getting back to the relationships as well. We took a little break, but we're definitely gonna be coming back to that. So hold on to your seats and talk about our grown folk business as you would. We grown folks. So yeah, so check us out every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. for the pre-mixed, 7 p.m. starts the show. Thank everybody for coming through. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please check us back on the playback.
I gotta stay on my grind, 'cause I'm...
All right. Hold on, I messed up here. Jesus Christ. Hey, anybody want to do something in closing? Did I forget something? Leave something out?
That's good to me, bro.
All right. Peace.
Hey, I was saying we didn't get the drop today.
What? The what?
We didn't get the drop. The Malcolm drop.
Oh shit! Damn. Hold on, man. I'm sorry. Damn, I didn't definitely.
I'm lost to choose the niggas.
Right, you gotta have at least one.
I'm lost to choose the niggas. I'm lost to choose the niggas.
It wouldn't have been right if we left it out.
I forgot all about that.
It's bullshit. You can't see that.
Shout out to Coop. Oh, by the way, the Giants did win. They beat the Vikings 31-24. Giants moving on. I told you we can do it. Shout out to Coop out there. He's probably somebody call and check on Coop. You ain't gonna see Coop for like another month, so y'all could can that one, man. Yeah. So shout out to everybody out here, man. And we'll see you, man. You know we like to do around this piece. Peace on 3. 1, 2, 3. Peace.
Girl, you know I
Sex in that beat.
Till next time, America.